Good afternoon, everyone. You're listening to the PNE Flagship, part of the TalkSport Network, sponsored by Trade Windows Preston. We are back. Darren back from Lanzarote, and looking at the bottom of the screen, it looks like we have a new panelist, an Indian panelist. Oh no, it's Critch. Critch, what's going on here?
Darker than me.
Who's back?
You've been hammering the sunbeds.
No, it's just the light. I swear.
I'm not having that.
No, it's not a lie.
It's just the light.
It's been
I
fantastic.
reckon, Critch, I reckon he's gone and watched the Ashes. This is why he's not been on. He's been in Australia for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I do look dark on the video. I'm not this dark. I swear. I'll take a picture after the video. I swear.
Unbelievable. PNE. How's everyone been anyway? We've not done this in a while. Have we got anything that's happened whilst we've been away, Critch?
No, I'm nothing to report.
No.
I think scratching my head. I'm sure we had there.
Let's not
before.
Let's not set him off, Darren, until we're towards the end of the episode. But look, I'm trying to think, when did we actually do the last flagship? Right, the three of us, the Christmas one. I think it was.
Yeah, we've not done one all together since then.
I mean, a lot has happened, but I tell you what, we'll talk about recent form. Obviously, we'll talk about this year's form. We started off with 2 decent wins, but then obviously we had a cup defeat, which we don't need to speak about, and the result on Saturday. Critch, you were on that game. What did you make of it Saturday?
Just a very poor performance, very lackluster. I mean, we lost against a Derby team that weren't even that good. They were nothing special, but yet we lost to them.
I thought he looked all right second half. That Adjumang was good up top. He was good.
Yeah, he looked good. He was really dirty when you watched him in person. He literally had his hands all over them every time. But yeah, he looked a handful. But yeah, they edged it. But I wouldn't say they were great.
Yeah, but he bullied Story, didn't he? And Darren, did you manage to watch the Derby game in Lanzarote or not?
Well, we went to this one pub, quick story time, and then this guy was like, every time I saw him walking past, he was like, "Oh, a few Preston fans coming here. I've got lots of, the dodgy boxes, the fire sticks on all the TVs in here." And so I goes, "Right, I'm going to come on Saturday. I'm coming to watch the game then." So we go down, and then what happens? He says, "Oh, friend, only one dodgy box is working, and then there's more West Ham fans than there is Preston fans. I have to show the West Ham game, not the Preston game." And I was like, right. So I had to walk back to the hotel, and I had to find a dodgy stream to watch it on. It was like the worst stream ever. Honestly, I was devastated because that bar had like loads of TVs. It would have been nice cold pints as well as I'm watching it, and instead I've had to watch it on a stream on my phone in my room.
Well, you should have said to him, "You've set our PTSD off there because they beat us in that playoff final. We've just got over that."
I know. I know. Yeah, but I was like, "Oh no, I've got." He used to have, because I remember the last time I went, he had a fire stick for every single TV in this bar, and there was like about 10, 15 TVs everywhere all over, and there were big TVs, and it was great. Because I remember I told you as well, I think ages ago, I watched Millwall Preston out obviously Lanzarote. And it was really good. And I thought, I'm going back to that bar. But yeah, only one fire stick was working out there, that whole 10 that he had. So
it was another bottom tactical masterclass that day against Millwall, wasn't it? What were it? 3-0, 3-1, battered us, didn't they? But yeah, maybe the fire stick police got hold of him. Do you not feel like every time you go on Facebook, it's police raid homes, fire sticks clamp down? It's like, oh, shut up.
It's a load of rubbish. I know. He's openly telling everybody in the street, "Oh, come in here. We've got IPTV. We've got IPTV." And it's like, right, okay.
Is it not just legal to show over there at 3:00 though? I'm sure it is.
I thought it must be, yeah. Must be.
But what have you made of recent form, Darren? Are you starting to worry the automatic promotion challenge has dwindled?
I know what Chris is going to say. Oh, here we go. Who invited him?
I'm going to sit back.
He's even got his water as well ready. Look at him. It's not water, it's my tears.
For those who don't know, Critch and Darren have been going back and forth about whether or not we're challenging for automatic. I'm going to boil the kettle and let you two go at each other on.
So, I am a bit worried at the moment because let's just say about 4 games ago, I would have said, do you know what? We are on for it. But again, I just think that there's a lot of things. I know we'll come on to it as well, like obviously January transfer window and or lack of doing anything at the moment. I'm sure we'll all come on to that later. But I am starting to a bit worry to the point where, not just for the club as well, but just for the fans' sake as well. I'm sure we'll come on to this at the moment, but I'm sure Critch will be happy to know that I am, starting to panic just a little bit.
We were never in the automatic race, were we, really?
No. Never.
Never. Never.
I think you were just bleeding with your heart there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the thing that definitely would say we're not in the... We'll settle back round to some of the news, and I think the thing that's probably, in my opinion, could be the reason we don't get the top six. I do think he's that important. Harrison Armstrong being recalled on the first day of the year, I think that was... Oh, here we go again. He's obviously gone on, played really well for Everton in some of the Premier League games. He's a massive miss. Don't get that wrong, isn't he?
Huge miss. And the way he played for Everton the other night as well, I think a day before his birthday or on his birthday, I think he just turned 19, and he absolutely had a blinder of a game. And we are not getting him back. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's not coming back. He'll be an Everton starter now. I think they've shown his quality. I think he's shown his quality in,
As of the weekend, I can tell you David Moyes is still trying his best to get him back to North End.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, yeah. Which is quite surprising. Like, obviously I've been seeing what the Everton fans have been saying, and they're loving it at the moment.
Yeah, the hope isn't over, because if you think about it, right, so he's starting and he's playing really well, okay? So if you're David Moyes, are you going to sit there and think, right, in his head, he needs to make the decision, is Harrison Armstrong going to start the majority of Everton's games this season? If the answer is yes, he ain't coming back to us, okay? But if he's thinking, well, when I get Dewsbury Hall back, when I get the African lads back, is Harrison Armstrong maybe going to start 4 or 5 games and maybe come on a couple? If that's the case, then why would he not send him back? So I do think there is still hope. North End think there's still hope. I know it's easy to watch a game like his performance at Aston Villa and think there's no hope. I thought the same myself at full time. But when you think about it, is it going to benefit Everton, who are mid-table? They're not realistically going to push for Europe. They're nowhere near going. Is it more beneficial for them that he starts every championship game on that absolutely dreadful pitch? Let's get into the pitch. Nice transition, but let's get into the pitch. Would you want him playing on that thing if you're Everton?
I'll let Critch start with this one.
God, what has happened to the pitch? I think we just need to decide whether it's the club cutting corners or we need a new groundsman. But it's the same groundsman who's had like amazing pitches in the past.
Won awards.
Why has it gone like this?
Well, I think you've just answered your own question there then. It can't be the groundsman if he's...
Yeah.
The groundsman go in and out of form?
Cutting corners again. Cutting corners.
I think just coming on that as well, I think that the recent weather have obviously had a big part to play in that huge downpour. We've got a very good drainage system. I know somebody up the road doesn't have a good drainage system. But still, that drainage system, I think our sand-based, with we've got under soil heating as well, but I think the mixture of what they were saying with it as well, because it's taken absolute battering. I think our winter's been really wet instead of a cold and snowy winter instead. So I think the pitch is just taking the battering. It really has.
It must have come as a shock to him, Darren, at North End that it was going to be a wet and cold winter. I mean, that doesn't happen every year, does it?
It must have come a surprise that we're going to be still in the playoff places in January. So
when I was freezing at work last week, I was thinking, I can't believe this. I was expecting a really nice, warm winter. Talk about preparing. But speaking of cutting corners, we're all over the place here. Barry Bannon coming in as a potential replacement for Harrison Armstrong. What would you two feel about this? Darren, you said it on that Sheffield Wednesday podcast. Would you want it?
I did. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, okay, I know some people in the group have said that he's, a decent man for Sheffield Wednesday level. And if you put him into a good team, maybe his performances won't be that great. But I personally think that he'll be a good... I know obviously his age is a part to play, but I think he'd be a great addition. I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. I think he's someone would need to help, obviously, pull them strings and obviously, get the ball out wide, get the players pushed up the pitch more. I think his energy is still there for as old as he is. I think he's, he's going to be a good addition. And I said that in that podcast that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those, isn't it? If we can't get Armstrong back, 400 grand for Bannon. I'm sure he signed a new contract, though, at the start of the season. But say 400 grand for Bannon. It's just typical North End, isn't it? We can't go out and get what we want. So what we're going to do, we're going to pay pennies just to solve a problem until the end of the season. And now the problem is Barry Bannon, really good footballer. What's he going to think of that pitch? He's going to take one look at that and think, But
you're right. You're right, aren't you? Because looking at Sheffield Wednesday over in, obviously what's happened with their owners leaving them in turmoil, their pitch is immaculate. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. Compared to us who have got stable ownership, which I will come on to that in a bit. But we can't have a good pitch. It's just it's ridiculous. It's just not playable, is it?
I've honestly. When the Travellers come on Waverley Park, I've honestly seen that look in better nick than Deepdale does when they've gone.
True.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Am I allowed to say that? Well, anyway.
You can.
Take your rubbish with you, people. Right. What else we got? Bad news while you're on already. Darren, your guy, Big Dan Everson, the greatest goalkeeper.
I said he was going to be top.
But, yeah, injured, out for the foreseeable future. It's looking like you always worry when Heckingbottom doesn't put a timeline on a return, don't you? Because you're thinking, you said Will Keane was due back soon and we didn't see him until the middle of December. But how big of a loss do you think he's going to be? And do you feel like Walton coming in has made you feel a little bit better after his performance on Saturday? We'll start with who wants to go first? Critch is your guy, so you can start first.
Go on then. Well, obviously, we are going to miss him. He's one of the best keepers in the Championship, if not the best, in our eyes. He is that good. The amount of points he's saved us this season, we wouldn't even be in the playoffs. Let's just say that. Wouldn't even be up there. So hopefully he's going to be back sooner rather than later. But it was good to see Walton come in and play that well. He needed that game. Obviously, he's not going to be up to Everson's standard. He's just not. And we can't expect him to be either. There's not many keepers that would be. But hopefully he can come in now and just be solid until he returns.
Yeah. Darren, I bet you were devastated about that news on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely devastated, Dan. And to be honest, I think Walton coming in and stepping up, I thought he did an absolutely amazing job. And obviously we didn't get the win. But I think that some fantastic saves that he pulled off, and he is a good keeper. And I think that now was giving the confidence. And obviously, we didn't get the 3 points or any points whatsoever. But I think he's got the confidence now that he's got the fans behind him now, which I did want to mention, actually, because I did see a lot of negative stuff on X, on Facebook, and on the forums as well, of people saying, we're doomed because Walton's coming in and his last performance was terrible against Wrexham. Honestly, like if I was Walton, for example, I know I'm going to be quick with this one, but if I was Walton, I was checking through X or something, and it's a night before the game, and I'm seeing all these posts saying, "That's it, we're not going to make the playoffs. We won't get a win tomorrow. Oh, Everson's out. Oh my God, what we're going to do?" I'd be sat there thinking in my bed, "What's the point of me turning up tomorrow? Everyone's already given me a bad press." Yeah. I think that we need to get behind our players when we have injuries. I think that some our fan base sometimes need to realise that players do have social media as well. They can see what you put. It isn't these players who just don't leave lucrative lives where they don't have Facebook, they don't have Instagram, they don't have Twitter. They look and they read, and it does affect them. It does. And we need to just sometimes get the back a little bit.
So what you're saying is North End fans shouldn't give their opinion because someone on 10 grand a week might get a little sad.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I mean,
exactly.
We're entitled to our opinion, but what I'm trying to say is that if we want our player to do well and to step up into the role, because he's the only person that can step up into that role that's going to be good enough, why are we getting on his back?
Let's get behind him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he weren't in our WhatsApp group.
Probably.
Darren, Darren, just a quick one. You've been is Darren froze on your end, Critch, as well?
I can't even see him on mine. I can hear him perfectly.
Yeah, same here. I can hear him. I can hear you perfectly, Darren. But you've had your eyes shut for about 10 minutes.
I will turn the camera off and back on again. Usually works.
No worries. But yeah, I mean, we've got Everson out.
There he is.
Everson out. Hey, Darren's Critch is in the top left-hand corner. Never a position I like to see him in. But look, you've got Everson out injured. Armstrong's gone back to Everton. We haven't brought in a player. Obviously, Wilkins departed. Dawson's departed. I want to pose this question to both of you. If Paul Heckingbottom isn't backed in January, do we risk losing him in the summer?
Yes. And I really want to come in on the end. I know that obviously I'll give Critch's talk and everything. I've waffled on a bit. But I'm really I've really felt really strong about this. And this was a moment I've been waiting for. So we are going to lose Paul Heckingbottom if we don't get absolutely anybody in this obviously this window. I feel like the club just make these stupid decisions, and we always try and cut corners, cut costs. It's football. It's not like the main budget for the UK. We're not going to cut costs. We're trying to do things to obviously gain a better squad, get back up into the playoffs. Actually do something well. Honestly, I get frustrated with our club because it's time and time again. And I know that I'm usually the most positive person, but this season has just, it's done me in. We've done so well. We've got to a point, right? 3 players have gone. Let's get 3 players back in. No. We'll just put stupid offers out and we'll just put them on the end of a hook and we'll just put it out there on the reel and let's see if anyone bites. If not, we'll just reel it back in and we'll tell everybody else back at the camp that, we tried our best. We tried to do it. We did this. It's football at the end of the day. You know what I mean? You win money, you lose money, you go on. You know what I mean? I dread to see the scenes if we do not sign a single person, which they probably will. They'll probably get somebody on the free, knowing Preston. We'll get somebody on the free just to keep the fans happy. Look, we've got somebody in. Yeah, probably another 52-year-old, aging striker from, Japan or something, that oldest footballer in the world, whatever his name is. But, I just feel like we need to have change. And I feel like, we're not going to do anything as a fan base by going online on these group chats and stuff and by saying, do you know what? Our club don't do anything. We need to have action in the club. We need to obviously voice our opinions together at the club and at the board, because we're never going to get out of this league until we actually show some promise, put the money forward on the table and go, do you know what? We're going to go all out here. We're going to put all our chips on the table and we're going to go for it. Yeah, okay, if we lose, we can say we did try our best. But again, at least they're trying. We've got to try, but we just don't. And this is what's frustrating about Preston North End. It's just the promise, the build-up of hope, and then not receiving anything.
I'm spoilt for choice in clipping some of them comments, aren't I? But I've got 3 points, I think, to what you've just said, Darren. One would be on the defensive of the club. Now, we're going to be in the market for loan players, and if that's the case, disappointing, I'd sooner go and buy someone. But if we're in the market for loan players, often you've got to wait for the Premier League to get their squad sorted, and then on the final day, you might get them. Secondly, the only problem with that is, full disclosure, we're recording this hours before the Hull game. So obviously, hopefully we go and beat Hull tonight. But we could easily not beat Hull tonight. We could very easily lose to Middlesbrough and Ipswich. Very easily, right? Okay, say we get 1 point out the next 9 possible. Say we even win tonight and get 3. We could easily find ourselves, say, 4 points outside of the playoffs come deadline day, which is... with how our form's been, it's not how it was at the start of the season. The performances haven't anyway. I'm not sure if we would come back from being 4 or 5 points outside the playoffs. So almost, what's disappointing is, you look at last January, what did they do? They maybe had a few worries we might get sucked into the relegation battle. We can't risk them going down. We'll go out and sign Lewis Gibson for whatever, $1.5 million. They were proactive because they didn't want us to go down. But now they're like, well, it'd be great if we went up. But if we don't, oh well. So they're not being proactive about it. And I think, look, we all know my thoughts on Paul Heckingbottom, okay? But if isolating this season, if I'm Paul Heckingbottom, yes, he has had a £50 million midfield, but he has been a part. He's been stood on the touchline, and he's done his bit, bless him, right? And getting us to, 4th, 5th during this January period, okay? He's thinking, right, if we can get 1 or 2 more players, I could get this team promoted. And instead, no disrespect to him, we're being linked with Barry Bannon. And it's just it's so frustrating because the Hemmings family, I know they've said there's no money available. This is the budget, right? But just have a little bit of risk, maybe. Let's go and spend 4 million, okay? And do you know what happens? You might get to the Premier League, okay? And then you know what happens? You get to the Premier League. The club is worth so much more money than if we're sat with Mads trotting about in the middle of the midfield at the start of next season, preparing to play Hull at home for the 15th season in a row. Critch, take the baton. I've annoyed myself here. Just spend some money.
Yeah, we're all in that same boat. We're all going to be very, very disappointed, aren't we? The club aren't going to invest, are they? I mean, we've let 2 players go already, and Hecky's made it very clear he wants 3 in. Are we going to bring 3 in? I don't think so. We'll be lucky if we get 2. If we get 2 in, then we've done well. But I honestly just don't think we will.
On the back of that, though, what Chris just said, made a good point that Hecky obviously has probably got the names of the players that they want, and he's put them down on a piece of paper, handed it to the Riddler, and gone, right, sort this out now.
Love that
nickname. The club have just gone, oh, you know what? Yeah, well, oh, that's a bit too expensive. Oh, that's £1 over our budget. Oh, no, pay over what we would have spent for him. If I was Paul Heckingbottom now, and I'm sorry, this is going to upset some happy clappers now. If I was Paul Heckingbottom, at the end of this season, I would walk away from this football club and get somewhere else, because that man deserves to take another team to the Premiership, and then he can turn around and go, look, with a bit of backing and a bit of investment, this is what you could have won.
Whoa! I'm gonna hold your horses there. So you're saying he should walk out on North End at the end of the season if he's not back. What I will say to that is, at the end of last season, 80% of Championship clubs would have got rid of Paul Heckingbottom, but our club stood by him. I was going to say supported him in the summer. They got him a few loan signings in the summer. So they stood by him. They stood by him this summer, while some loud, obnoxious fans, Critch, were asking for him to be removed from his post. So I don't think he can come around. Because I do think, like, all joking aside, I think the club didn't have to support him and keep him after last season. Most clubs would have got rid of him. So I don't really think he can do that. But at the same time, I understand how frustrated he should be. And if I'm him, Darren, I agree with you. I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm sick of this, yeah? We spoke about this with Oliver Glasner and Palace on a previous podcast, right? If anything, if I'm Heckingbottom, I'm thinking, right, let's get North End to finish 7th or 8th this season, as high as we possibly can. And I tell you what, in the summer, when I don't know, Norwich or West Brom or take your pick, are looking for a manager, Derby, Stoke, whoever, because half of the Championship managers go in the summer, they either get poached or sacked. I'm off. And you can't really blame him, can you?
You can't blame him, no. And to come on to the back of that as well, Dan, as well, what you said about, the club didn't have to stick with him, obviously, towards the end of, obviously, last season. You're right in that. But I think they knew his quality, and they knew what he did at Sheffield United without, obviously, again, a very tight, I think, were they under a transfer embargo? Were they under some, I think it was like, they didn't have that much funds as well, but he still managed to get Sheffield United up to the Premier League.
Did he get them a £50 million midfield on loan or not?
Well, no, but they probably didn't. They probably didn't. They probably had some already good quality in the side, and obviously additions that he obviously, made obviously with the free signings as well. And again, you know what I mean? It's just frustrating because he is a good manager and he can, it can take us there, but with the backing. But again, everybody needs help. And obviously the help that I mean is obviously the funds. And we all complain and we all say, look, our club's tight-fisted and we know this, we're set in our ways. And the one thing that we always get told about when you try to voice your opinion is, well, why don't you put £1.5 million? Why don't you put your millions in? Oh, my God. It's because I'm going to work on Wednesday. I don't have £3.5 million in the bank. If I did, I wouldn't be working. Right, so and I wouldn't be on the Preston North End forum if I was a millionaire. So,
to be fair, I mean, he did only have Undyne and Sander Berg in there, so he was helped a little bit. But what you said, Darren, I tell you what, we'll do this. If they spend over 3 million on players this January, we'll donate 2 months Patreon money to a charity of whoever's choice, yeah? So 2 months Patreon money, charity of their choosing, as long as they spend more than 3 million on players. We're not asking for much, you know what I mean? 3 million.
3 million.
How about that? How about that? St. Catherine's Hospital, we will donate 2 months Patreon money. Tell you what, sod it. Well, 3 months. 3 months Patreon money if they spend 3 million this January. How about that?
Happen.
Do you reckon it's going to happen, Critch, or not?
I think your money is very safe.
I like how you said my money and not our money. Sorry.
I'm going to have to shoot, guys. I've just got people coming in.
Oh, look at you. Next topic. Preston 0, Wigan 1.
In case anything else gets mentioned.
Yeah. Have a good one, Critch.
I'll let you have a moment. Go on, have your moment.
No, I wasn't. Honestly, I wasn't going to say anything. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one to rub anything in, but he's not a bad manager, is he? Quick, more importantly, predictions for Hull and Middlesbrough, Rich, and then go.
Right, I have written them down. I think we're going to lose tonight, 2-1.
Great.
Brilliant.
What about Middlesbrough?
I think we're going to win 2-1.
All right, okay, right. See you later, Ryan. Have a good night.
And Ipswich, I think we're going to lose 2-0.
Is that your way of telling us you're not planning on coming on the Middlesbrough flagship one or not? Right. We'll let you go, Critch. Thanks for joining us.
I was going to mention our poor home form over the last 7 games as well. So feel free to talk about that.
We'll talk about that next. We'll go on, Critch. I'm sure you've got 15 minutes waiting for you on bed 3. But yeah. Look, he set us up here. I was about to head off myself. Darren, 1 win in 7 at home against League 2 Sheffield Wednesday. What do you make of it?
Not good enough. Not good enough at the moment. But again, it's just the poor in the form that Critch has just mentioned as well. And he's completely right. It's just not good enough. We need to bounce back tonight. Tonight feels more important than what people are going on about Derby now. If we do not get a win here tonight at Preston, then that's it, yeah. Critch is right, yeah. We know where we fall out the playoff places dramatically, and I think we fall off and we'll struggle to climb back. And then I'll be eating my own words and drinking my tea.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, because looking at recent history, I mean, April 2023, we were level points with 6th in April. So I believe that Paul Eckenbottom, this great manager, can easily get us in the same position that Mr. Lowe got us a couple of years ago in April. So I have full faith. Hopefully he doesn't get poached by Spurs if they end up sacking their manager. I can see him being right at the top of their list. But Darren, what's your predictions for tonight and Middlesbrough?
But tonight, I think we have to win. I know that obviously my predictions may be, I was going to go for a draw, and I really was. And that's not like me to obviously be, I'm always Mr. Positive, but I was going to go for a draw tonight. But I think that we need a win. I think anything less, I know you're saying about not to be too worried, but I think our next 2 games as well after that are, games that are going to be really test us. So I think you have to get 3 points here tonight. My heart's saying a Preston win, but my mind's saying a 1-1.
1-1, right. Tonight, we're going to win 2-1. We're going to have a great night. We're going to get a 94th minute winner. Everyone's going to be buzzing.
Really?
Right, it's about time he pulled his finger out, innit? And Saturday, we're going to get a 0-0 draw at Middlesbrough. So 4 points out the next 6. Darren, what are you saying for Middlesbrough?
Middlesbrough, I'm thinking 2-0 Middlesbrough.
2-0 Middlesbrough. Critch, can I just ask you something? Why did you say about 4 minutes ago you were going and now you just sat here clapping?
I wanted to listen to you guys. But I am going to have to shoot, so...
See you later,
right.
Critch,
Right, can we just delete him from the chat, right? Critch, see you later. How'd you remove someone? Yeah, see you later, Critch. Jesus. Right, he's gone. Oh, dear. He came. He conquered. But, yeah, tan, didn't he, him? Flipping it.
Injections or,
I don't know. There's something's not something's wrong there, innit? Something's not. He's more tan than Randy Orton in the middle of summer. But, yeah, did we have anything else to touch on? I don't think we did we?
Oh, we could make this an hour talking about the club, Dan, and all the transfer rumours. It's just frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, I know. Well, by the sounds of it, we're going to be doing the Middlesbrough flagship on our own. So he gave his prediction for him. So
See you later,
I guess
Chris.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I don't know. We'll do a flagship at some point during the next week or so. But yeah, look, we're going to wrap up. Hopefully, well, at the time most people are listening to this, it's 10-5. So the whole game will have been done and dusted. Hopefully, you sat here thinking, we got the 3 points. We sit comfortably in the top 6. And yeah, plenty of positives heading towards Middlesbrough, Darren. But anything you want to finish on before we get out of here?
No, nothing. No. Just want to obviously, if the club or somebody manages to listen to this podcast, sign some players, back Hecky, and let's get comfortably in those playoff places.